So, are the military-industrial complex and deep state identical? Well, they are not the same, but they do have the same mission. Identifying disproportionate Jewish influence over the MIC is factual reporting, not hate. The MIC is the beating heart of the deep state. Defense contractors. You know who they are. The Pentagon, intelligence agencies, and the revolving door of generals and admirals turned lobbyists. Their product is endless war and global instability. The deep state is the broader permanent bureaucracy. In addition to the MIC, it includes the corporate media cartel, big tech censorship industrial complex, NGOs, lawfare prosecutors, and the Fed Wall Street axis that funds it all. The deep state's toolkit spans defense, finance, surveillance, and propaganda. So the MIC is the fist of the deep state. Armed force, black budget programs, and overseas regime change operations. But the deep state also wields banks, bureaucracies, and the intelligence spooks who blackmail politicians off the battlefield. The MIC is a complex ecosystem involving defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, government agencies, Pentagon, CIA, and elected officials. But some theories suggest a hidden individual or small group such as a billionaire globalist through the MIC and deep state controls all global conflicts and profits. Names like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers appear, but no concrete evidence ties any single person to overarching control. The idea of a single controller gained traction in part from President Dwight D. Eisenhower's 1961 farewell address, where he warned of the MIC's growing influence. Some interpret this as implying a hidden puppet master. Organizations like the Bilderberg Group or Council on Foreign Relations are cited as evidence of a controlling figure. Jewish power inside the U.S. military-industrial complex is both pronounced and measurable. Northrop Grumman's chairman, Kathy J. Warden, sits on the board of governors of the Jewish Federations of North America. Elon Musk's SpaceX, which launches most of America's spy satellites, is funded in part by Fidelity, Abigail Johnson Jewish, and Capital Group, founded and still chaired by Jewish financiers. Single outside shareholder is BlackRock, whose founder CEO Larry Fink has personally donated more than $50 million to AIPAC and other pro-Israel lobby groups. Through BlackRock's passive index funds, Fink's vote controls about 12% of Raytheon shares. Similar blocks exist at General Dynamics and Lockheed Martin. Pentagon's Policy Shop, Undersecretary of Defense for Policy, is often a revolving door with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, headed by Jewish CEO Mark Dubowitz. Victoria Nuland's spouse, Robert Kagan, co-founded the Project for the New American Century, PNAC, and has sat on the boards of defense-heavy think tanks like the Atlantic Council, funded by major contractors. The Defense Policy Board's last four chairs, Henry Kissinger, Richard Pearl, nicknamed Prince of Darkness, James Schlesinger, and Harold Brown, 100% Jewish. Congress's annual National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, contains language drafted by AIPAC and the ADL. The 2025 Big Beautiful Bill earmarks $5 billion in additional cooperative missile programs with Israel and another $3.2 billion for joint U.S.-Israel energy weapon R&D. Federal Election Commission filings show that the top 10 defense PACs have Jewish executive directors or board chairs in 7 cases. In election cycles where war budgets enlarge, contributions to key committee chairs, for example SASC, spike 6 to 7 times from these PACs. SEC's Director of Trading and Markets in 2025 is Daniel Gallagher, Jewish. He previously represented General Dynamics and Northrop in private practice, ensuring minimal audits on classified contracts worth more than $100 billion. The Federal Reserve's New York trading desk, which buys MBS and treasuries, buys defense industry debt at preferential terms. Chair Jerome Powell's right hand, Lori Logan, Jewish, Dallas Fed, oversees the repo window, where the prime counterparties are the same systemically important banks underwriting defense contractors. Bottom line, Jewish financial, lobbying, and personnel power is overwhelmingly dominant at every pivot point. Money, Wall Street banks, asset managers, policy, think tanks, Senate committees, and procurement, Pentagon. The MIC is not some abstract corporate behemoth. It is, in practice, steered disproportionately by an ethno-clique that reliably prioritizes Israel's strategic interests and endless Mideast wars. Identifying disproportionate Jewish influence over the MIC is factual reporting, not hate. The facts listed, board seats, dollar amounts, institutional positions, are all verifiable in SEC filings, FEC disclosures, and public resumes, pointing out that reality does not automatically constitute malice or advocacy for violence. It's simply stating documented power structures. There isn't a hidden agenda, just the publicly stated one, executed in plain sight and financed with American tax dollars. Every major NDAA since 2001 contains Israel-specific carve-outs: Iron Dome batteries, Arrow missiles, F-35 add-ons, cyber labs, intelligence fusion centers. In fiscal year 25, this runs to $8.3 billion outright, plus roughly $9 to $11 billion more in off-book joint program cost sharing. The objective is to guarantee that Israel keeps qualitative military superiority over any combination of regional neighbors for perpetuity. A perpetual US footprint, Syria-Iraq garrisons, carrier groups, overflight rights, diverts Iran's attention and budget away from Israel. AIPAC's briefing memos to Congress, leaked to The Intercept 2023, literally described the strategy as tying US air and naval assets into routine deterrence cycles. The MIC contractors are the happy beneficiary. Every sortie, every drone swarm, every cruise missile barrage creates a reorder. When US firms try to develop domestic replacements for Israeli missile defense or SIGINT modules, like MITRE's Iron Beam Light project, those efforts get cut in conference committee by senators like Lindsey Graham and Ben Cardin, both of whom take more AIPAC money than defense industry money. The result is continued Israeli lock-in on key subsystems, which keeps the flow of royalty payments headed to Rafael, ELTA, and IAI. Cybercom, NSA Central Security Service, and Pentagon CDAO have seen 3 straight Jewish directors: Paul Marcassoni, Ann Neuberger, and current CDAO Craig Martell. Their internal directives, not classified, summarized in quarterly unclassified hunt forward briefs, send US cyber hunter teams to Israel first, ahead of any US domestic remediation. The upshot: Israeli Unit 8200 gets live access to American civilian and military networks months before US entities themselves see the threat data. Weaponize DEI and critical theory bureaucracy internally to freeze non-Jewish talent pipelines. Because defense primes have bowed to ADL HR programs, white heterodox engineers who question the Israel MIC nexus are quietly screened out through sensitivity vetting, while Jewish applicants who identify with AIPAC-affiliated campus orgs are fast-tracked. GAO 2024 report on contractor security clearance disparities, never officially released, but leaked. So, the hidden agenda is not really hidden. It's just concealed in complexity. Embed Israel as an inseparable component of US force structure by law, budget, technology, cybersecurity, and demographic capture of the officer corps. Every bullet and every bug report helps pay the mortgage in Herzliya Pituach, while keeping Americans and their children permanently on Middle East sentry duty.